This is Adam Yunker, Lab 3 for MEC 140, computer programming. What I have here is a program I wrote to count button presses. That is the main function of this program, is to count the presses of the button. And it will perform different tasks depending on the count. So let's look at my code here. This is my main loop right here. So if digital read button equals high, so if the button is pressed, run this program, run counter. This is a function I created to keep count of the button presses. If the count is 0, is what this is saying, then all off, which is a function. If count is 1, run function 1. If count is 2, function 2. Count is 3, function 3. 4, 4. And 5 turns everything off again. So basically, that is the entire loop of this function. Each one of these individual functions does a different task, but the main thing this program does is just count button presses. And so now I'm going to open up the serial window here in my Arduino. Okay, and so I have it printing the value of the count as part of the program. So let's go through the circuit here. So this red light here, what it's doing is letting me know that the program is on and functioning and ready to read a button press. It indicates whether the function, it indicates whether the Arduino has read my button press by turning off. So when I hit the button, the LED should turn off, letting me know that it read my button press. So for example, when I hit it, it turns off, that means it read the press. And now the count has moved to 1. Yeah. And now it's performing function 1 right now. Function 1 says, if the count is at 1, turn the first LED on and run the motor continuously. If I push the button again, it'll read the press and move the count to 2. So now you can see the count is at 2. When the count is at 2, its job is to turn the second LED on and turn the motor off. If I push the button again, it moves the count to 3. And when the count is at 3, the program is supposed to turn the third LED on and pulse the motor. I created a pulsing program to turn the motor on and off, on and off, on and off, over and over again until I move to the next portion of the count. If I push the button again, the count moves to 4. All 4 LEDs are on, and the motor is running continuously again. If I push the button again, the count moves to 5. If you can see that. You can't really read that, can you? There. So now you can see the count is reading 5 in the serial window. And when the count is at 5, all the LEDs are turned off, the motor is off, and the program has essentially reset itself. So I hit the button again, the count is now at 1 again, and it's back to function 1. Function 2, function 3, function 4, and function 5. You see in the serial window, now it's counted to 5 twice. So yeah, that's pretty much what the program does. If you want to look at my code here. Okay, so each one of these functions I have created are described down here. So the counter function, all it does is C++, which means add 1 to the count. It prints the value of C, serial print C. Digital write LED4 low. That is basically the red LED, and it turns it off. That's how I know that the button was read. And then delay D, that's just a delay for debouncing purposes for the button so that it doesn't read multiple presses. Void all off right here, that's a different function. That's basically turns everything off. Void function 1, that's digital write LED 0, which is the first LED, and motor high, both are high. Here's void function 2. 2 LEDs are high, the motor is low. Function 3, the 3 LEDs are high, and it's running my pulse function right there. You see pulse 200, 200. We'll get to that in a minute. Function 4 turns all 4 LEDs on and the motor on, and then pulse, that's the one we just saw there up on the screen. Pulse, void pulse, this is what void pulse is. This is how the motor is pulsing while also reading the button at the same time. Basically what it's doing is every other line here, you see the if statement, which is also reading the button. So it's saying, so it's reading the button and then it's turning the light right here. This is the red light high, so I know that it's reading. And then it reads the button again, and then it turns the motor on. Reads the button again, then it turns the motor, the delay, which is how long the motor will stay on. Then it reads the button again, and it turns the motor off. Then it reads the button again, and the delay for how long it stays off. And then it reads the button one more time. So at any point in this loop, it will read the button between tasks. So it's reading the button constantly. So I can press the button at any point in the pulsing function, and it will move the count. See right here, this counter right here. So it runs the counter function again within the pulse function. And then if we go to the top of the program here, my LED right here, array, I use an array to designate the LEDs. Part of the lab is to use an array with my program, and that's how I designate the LEDs within an array. And that's it.